Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. We are a product of our habits. The quote, "Your habits will determine your future" by Jack Canfield is pretty darn accurate. And really, there are any number of quotes out there that tell the importance of our habits. Good habits like a healthy diet and making sure to exercise will likely pay dividends in the form of a healthier life, whereas bad habits make our life harder than necessary. And while much of what happens in life is outside of our control, our habits are well within our control. And when we think of successful people or people who've already achieved millionaire status, if that's a goal you're shooting for, you might ask yourself, do these people have habits in common? Maybe habits that we could adopt that could potentially steer us in that direction? Well, the team over at Dave Ramsey Solutions recently said they've identified 5 common habits that millionaires share. And the Ramsey team might know a thing or two about millionaires, being that they did conduct the largest study on millionaires ever done. So I thought it would be fun to go over just what those 5 habits are to see if they lay the very foundation to becoming an everyday millionaire. Reading. One of the reasons millionaires become millionaires is because of their constant desire to learn. When they have free time, they use it wisely by reading. And I think there's a lot of truth to this constant desire to learn. If you're constantly learning, you're pushing your boundaries, you're expanding your knowledge base. And I feel like this applies to all areas of your life. Take, for example, the subject of money. If you're constantly learning in this area, you're likely learning new ways to save, maybe better ways to manage your money, and better ways to preserve your wealth. Then, of course, you have in your own line of work, if you're constantly learning in this area, you're constantly growing in your career field. You're going to spot new opportunities. You're going to be put up for new promotions. And not to say that a higher salary guarantees a road to wealth, but it does make the road to wealth easier if you have a bigger paycheck. And I'm a huge fan of reading. I don't think a day goes by where I don't have my nose buried in a book. I'm usually reading a couple books at a time because I like to pick up different ones depending on what I'm in the mood for that time of day. Currently, I'm reading Ultra Learning, which is fitting for this video, by Scott Young, and The Greatness Mind by Lewis Howes. But I'm always looking for new books to read, so if you've read any good ones lately, leave them in a comment down below. And while I think reading is wonderful, I do understand that not everyone has a penchant for reading, and that's totally fine. If I were to tweak this habit just a bit, I would say it's more important that you have a growth mindset and that you're seeking to constantly be learning. I think reading is one form of learning, probably the most traditional form, but it's certainly not the only one out there. For instance, videos are phenomenal. YouTube University is real. I can't tell you the number of things I have learned on YouTube, from finance related things to being able to do construction on my basement or minor car repairs. I adamantly believe that you can learn anything on YouTube. So pick up a book, watch a video, attend a course. It doesn't matter what you do, just keep learning. Delayed gratification. Millionaires spend most of their lives sacrificing temporary pleasures for long-term success. This might be the most important habit on the list. I would be inclined to argue that you're unlikely to reach millionaire status or success if you haven't learned the art of delayed gratification. Literally, having small sacrifices today in order to build a brighter future. That's how you win with money. And in our consumer-driven society where we're literally hit with tens of thousands of ads every single day, we have a buy now option and free next day delivery, it's pretty clear that people like instant gratification. Remember a time when we used to all wait until, say, Thursday at 8 p.m. to watch our favorite show? Oh, that's gone too. Now we have streaming services and you can watch anything at any time. And I really think it's this instant gratification society that drives such a large percentage of people to live paycheck to paycheck. Now, of course, delayed gratification isn't about doing nothing today. Let's face it, that would be zero fun. It's about saying that I will live on less than my full paycheck. I will save a portion. Maybe it's saying I will take a few years and save aggressively so I can deliberately save a little bit less aggressively later on. It's buying a house or a car that are well within or maybe below budget so you can have some breathing room within your budget. And more importantly, it's not caring what anyone else around you is doing, not trying to keep up with those proverbial Joneses and just sticking to your own path. They stay away from debt. One of the biggest myths out there is that the average millionaire sees debt as a tool. Not true. If they want something they can't afford, they save and pay cash for it later. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it is very on brand for the no debt stance of the Ramsey team. I think being debt-free is wonderful. I think it's an admirable goal because if you don't have a car payment or a house payment, it frees up so much of your paycheck and really allows you to do whatever the heck you want with it. You can save more, you can spend a little bit more to enjoy your day because you don't have those debt obligations. But if you look at the statistics, only 9% of millionaires don't have credit cards, while a full 24% of non-millionaires don't have credit cards. So millionaires are in fact more likely to have credit cards. Millionaires are more likely to have multiple credit cards than the average American. In fact, according to the Federal Reserve, the top 10% of Americans have roughly 21% of the debt. Billionaire Mark Zuckerberg made headlines years ago when he refinanced his home, begging people to ask the question, why does one of the richest men in the world need a mortgage? Well, obviously he doesn't, but he was able to get a 1% interest rate, which is essentially borrowing money for free. So that allows him to free up his money and put it to work elsewhere. I would argue that most millionaires don't shun debt completely. Rather, they say no to bad debt. Yes, they use credit cards, but they make sure to pay them off in full every single month. They probably have a mortgage, and even if they could pay it off, maybe they just stick to that payment schedule and instead leave that money invested where it can further grow and compound, and they take that annual tax deduction. Maybe they take out a loan to start a new business or maybe to grow a new business. I think the hottest debate in the debt category is whether or not you should have a paid off home. And honestly, I think it comes down to personal preference. If you sleep better at night having a paid off home, pay it off early. Average millionaires have made a habit of budgeting every month. They know what's coming in and what's leaving their bank accounts. I love this one. You have to know what is happening with your money. I'm always surprised when I see alarmingly high stats about people who have no idea what is going on with their money. Or when you hear that people are spending more time planning a vacation than working on their finances. Truth is, if you spent more time on your finances, you could probably take more vacations. I get that budgeting isn't fun for everyone, but knowing what is happening with your money is a non-negotiable if you want to be successful. And there's any number of ways to do it. Pick the one you like, pick the one that works for you. You could do an Excel spreadsheet, you can do an app that links with your bank accounts and converts everything, or you can do it the lazy man's way and put everything you do on a credit card and at the end of the month, go through the statement. No matter what you do, you have to know what's coming in and what's going out every single month. And finally, habit 5, they give. They realize that the most important thing you can do with wealth is help others. Instead of spending it all, they choose to leave a legacy for the people who mean the most to them. I think this is true as well. I once heard a quote, and it was a long time ago, and I don't remember where, so forgive me on that, but it was success and wealth magnify who you are. So if you're a generous person who becomes successful, once you have more, you become more generous. If you're a not so nice person, having more makes you more of who you are. So regardless of your wealth level, focus on becoming the person you want to be. So once you become successful, you're just more of that. And I really think when you have money to help others, friends or family or causes you care about, it goes a long way into fostering your own personal happiness. And you kind of get hooked. You get this feeling of, oh, helping others, that feels really good. I want to do this more often. So what do you guys think of the 5 Ramsey millionaire habits? Let me know your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye.